welcome to Sorare Sunday for the 9th of June to the 15th of June. But before we start with all that, let's have a little look at the Sorare26 update because I have some thoughts. Okay, so this week, Sorare have done the announcement that they have an update. Sorare26 gameplay update. And essentially, there's a lot of changes in it, but there's a few which have caused quite a lot of uproar within the community, and I think rightly so, because they're reimagining, as they put it, classic mode, which means they are getting rid of a bunch of leagues that classic mode works in, and they are then making it so that you can only play classic in, let me just scroll down and see if I can find it. There's all this other stuff which I'll talk about in a second, but there you go. Classic slot in season competition, hot streaks. Brand new classic structure with 7 players in the lineup instead of 5. And instead of the contender, challenger, and Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, you are only getting 3 competitions with classics, which is All-Star, which is basically any card you want to use, under 23s, which is as you would expect, any under 23 player, and Champion Europe, which is the top 5 leagues only. Now, that basically ruins Classic for me, because you have a really small pool of leagues you can play in, which means you're less likely to get any sort of rewards from them. You're always going to be up against the whales, basically, who have loads of cards, able to play really high tier like lineups, and there's just no wiggle room for fun there anymore. They've basically said that they don't want people to have classic cards anymore, which is completely against what Sorare has been about for the past 2 years at least, but probably longer. It's all been about owning your cards, being able to use your cards, not just in-season cards. And now it just feels like they're trying to phase them out. And this is that first, they're minimizing their use. They're making it so you need more cards just to play one team. It feels like they're trying to get people to give up on them so that they can just get rid of them in the future. And it sucks, honestly. It really sucks. So MLS Classics will remain in place for the full season, which is good. I don't know if they said about Contender, because we've got J League and K League. I would hope that for the remainder of the J League and K League season, they're going to have Classics as well. But we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, because again, not again. This is the first time I'm going to say it. With this update, they left so many things unsaid that we now have more questions than answers, and they've dropped so many bombs that a lot of people are really worried. Not worried is probably the wrong word. Annoyed and looking just basically to get out now, because Sorare have hurt them so many times with their decisions, moving the goalposts again and again. So, for instance, preparing for the next season. I prepared for next season by trading my way up to get some rare cards, which I haven't ever been able to do before. So I was quite excited to get into rare competitions. But the rare cards that I've got are Contender and Challenger, and they aren't going to be in season. So my rare cards are next to useless, because I have a Hibs team, which are in Contender. I have 2 J-League kind of stacks with different teams, but the players rather than the teams. And then I have a Club Bruges stack and a few other players within the Juniper League, but that's also Challenger. So all of those just fit within All-Star, and they don't fit within Champion Europe, because I don't think Juniper League is in top 5. I'm pretty certain it isn't. So then all I can put them is in All-Star. You only have 2 or 3 teams that you can play in All-Star. So then I have to choose between each one and probably won't win anything. It really sucks. Sorare are screwing over their existing users and players in order to try and bleed more money from them for the in-season stuff because there's way more competitions to play within season. But some of us, me, I don't have enough money to just stick into this is the first season I did in season properly, and I don't think I'll be able to afford to do it again because I just did it for a bit of fun, and I had a little bit of extra money, so I decided to do that. But I'm not in a position to do that again and again, and they just seem to think that their existing player base is the way, like just squeeze them like a sponge until nothing's left, and it sucks. Honestly, it really does. And I think this, if they don't, they won't reverse. They won't go back on any of their decisions. They haven't listened to any of their user base for years now. So why are we expecting them to listen again now? But this is a problem. The other thing, which I'm not crazy. Oh, and Arena is now permanent as well, so you can pay Essence to play. I hate that. I don't like Arena. I tried it this week, and you'll see. I do not think that it's worth the essence that you. It's gambling. They argued because they went to court a few years ago. It might even been last year that it finished. Saying because the English government said that they were a gambling site and they didn't put themselves down as a gambling site. And at the time, I agreed that they weren't really a gambling site because you were buying cards, you were utilizing them, and you were playing for rewards and stuff like that. It was a little bit more nuanced, you know. It could have been seen as gambling, but overall, it wasn't like a life. But this is buying in. It is gambling. And what's even more crazy with the gambling thing is that they're changing how Essence works. Okay, found the Essence bit. So they've changed how Essence works. So instead of being able to do save your Essence to get a T plus T1 craft or something like that, so you know you're going to get a really good card. Instead of that, it's a one price for Essence for crafting, and then you choose several face down cards, which it's like loot box and gambling. I don't like the change that they've made. It just seems needless, but okay, it's a little bit of a gamification that they've added. You can use Essence to reveal characteristics of your cards. So then you can see what leagues they're in, nationalities, and things like that, which is just another way for them to drain Essence from you so that you can use it less and less. And then each time you craft a card, there's a fixed chance you'll hit a lucky draw. A lucky draw gives you a better guaranteed reward. It's a guaranteed T0 card among the face downs in the set, for example. So there is a lucky draw, which I guarantee you'll hit one time in a million. It's really, really rare. And the thing that I'm concerned about with this is I think they're trying to force rarity in cards. I think because you're able to save to get a plus T1 card, there were too many people getting saving their essence and getting high level cards, and the rarity was being diluted for some of the high level cards. So now they want to stop people doing that. So they're just going to put this in place where you can't really pick what level the card is. You might get lucky, but I guarantee if you look at the stats in a year's time and you look at the past season and look at the next season, that the number of cards pulled by Essence of a higher tier level and a higher monetary value and everything like that, higher rarity, is way less than it was the season before because they're trying to minimize how many cards people get. And I honestly think that's the case. And I think that's another way of squeezing money from your existing customer base because you don't want them to get something for nothing. Where it isn't something for nothing, you need actual rewards. Otherwise, what's the point? So it just feels very scummy. And then another thing which they've done is they've grouped super rare and unique, and it doesn't affect me. I am nowhere near affording any of them, trust me. But it does affect a lot of other people, and I've seen a lot of things on Twitter, Reddit, all over the place saying basically, what's the point? I think I'm going to give up on So Rare now. It doesn't make sense. There are other changes that they've brought in. For instance, they've done different daily missions and things like that. They've also done a sealing thing where you can seal your older cards, which gives you better rewards and things like that, but you can't use sealed cards which means they're basically giving a utilization for classic cards without having to use them. But I don't like it. I don't like the idea of just sealing a card and getting a slightly better reward or slightly better percentage. I just think that's rubbish. I don't understand the maybe I'm not understanding it properly. When it comes out, it might seem better, but I think that it's just such a cop out. It's like you can lose a card and get a tiny bit of maybe a prize or whatever, but you have to be on the leaderboard, which means again all the whales who have all the cards are just gonna get on the leaderboards and get all the prizes, and you're going to be the person who's just a normal player who likes to play week in, week out, but not all the time and doesn't put loads of money in, is just going to be left on the wayside and be completely bored and end up not playing, basically. And overall, I think that's basically it. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I've missed. There probably is. Overall, a really poor announcement, in my opinion, because they didn't answer a lot of questions. They did change hot streaks actually to include one classic card. I think they did. So you can actually earn hot streaks without 4 in seasons and 1 classic. So that's something, because I wasn't getting any of the MLS hot streaks. I wasn't getting them because I didn't have my goalkeepers are usually classics because I can't afford the in seasons. So that's something, but it's not enough for me to say it saved the announcement. I think that they are wildly off base of what the what the users and the players want. I think that this screams that they're running out of money, and if that is the case, I think probably a bit more visibility around that would have been appreciated. If they were saying, listen, we love Sorare and you do too, but we have to cut to the chase and it is here to make money and we are not making money. This is why we're making these changes. Then at least there's a bit of understanding. But at this point, it's just, it's a bit of a joke. They have really, really negatively impacted a lot of people who play the game. There's some people who are just going to stop playing. There's some people who are going to play a lot less. And with Rivals being taken away earlier this year, I'd have just had such a terrible year for poor decisions. And I feel like these decisions are made by people but who don't play the game. I know that they don't play the game because they're not allowed to. There was some sort of rule that was put in place when they first started up that employees aren't allowed to play the game, just in case they were like favoritism and things like that, winning prizes. I don't know if that's still the case, but I would imagine so. But even so, like, you still have a love for the idea of the game. You still maybe play fantasy football somewhere else. Just the idea that it just feels very out of touch and very closed off and only thinking of investors rather than thinking of the people who actually play the game. So really disappointed with this announcement. Really just let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if there's actually something which I'm not thinking about, because I might have just be reacting very sourly to this without thinking about the positives of how the game will be affected by these changes. And I'm happy to admit if I'm wrong, if these changes are for the better. I personally don't see that happening at the moment because it just I'd have to spend so much money to get in seasons to actually play it next year. Or in the new season even. So I'm not going to. I'm not going to put money into this when I think that the cards are going to be worthless at the end of the season. The whole reason I was investing this season in seasons was because I thought, well, I can use them for classics next season, and I'll have some really good stacks for me. Like, I'm not saying they're great stacks like in general, but for me, I was happy with them. And now I don't. I have to pick and choose. I only have 3 teams that I can play. I've got about 12 to 15 stacks which I'd want to play, which I would have played next season if it was like it is now. Like, without this change, I would have had about 12 or 15 teams I would have been playing. Now, I'm playing 3. That's the reality of it. And so even if I do win something, it's way less than what I would usually win because I've got that added chance, like extra, you know. So really disappointed. Just frustrating as well because you put time into a game and you think, oh, this is so good. And like my favorite time, I'm just gonna say, my favorite time playing Sorare was when it was either the Euros or the World Cup. I can't remember off the top of my head. Both of them were really fun. We had rivals every day. We had really good limited competitions and classic competitions, like all of them in season and classic even. And every day I would look at the results or look at the fixtures coming up, and I'd be like, okay, who do I want to pick? I'd go on to rivals, and I might even only have one ticket, so I'd have to really choose which game I wanted to play. I'd keep up to date with all of like the stats, the injuries and stuff, and I was so involved in that competition, and I loved it. It made it really fun. It was such a fun time, like such a good month to play through. And they've taken away basically everything that was fun from that time in the space of like a year or two. So it just feels like you taking a step backwards in terms of Sorare. So really disappointing. I don't really know what else to say other than that. But that I just wanted to give my thoughts on that matter. I'm gonna do my roundup and that. I'm gonna do an essence pull. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I will stick around and see how the update looks, see what happens in the new season. If I'm feeling well, it depends if I have any money. But if I'm feeling like I wanna try and just do at least one in season team, I might do that. I don't think I'll be able to afford a Premier League. I don't know if they're going to keep the in seasons for contender and challenger. I'm not 100% sure. It was kind of a little bit confusing, the announcement around what the in seasons are going to be, because we've got league specific. We've got the top five. I don't a champion. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the contender and challenger. And if they are removing that, they should be telling people so that they don't invest more in J League and K League and like the Scottish Premier League, the Croatian League. Because if they're going to get rid of those licenses, those cards are going to be useless. They're going to be no point having them, and it's going to be a really, really rubbish time to be on Sorare because they're just losing stuff rather than getting anything new. Not even got any fun game modes really anymore, apart from like limited, which is limited pros, where you're just kind of doing like one a week, if that. It looks bleak at the moment. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you've got some sort of silver lining that you can throw me to see if there's something better about this than that I'm not seeing. But at the moment, I'm not seeing a lot of positives.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Okay, so it serves me right for trying to get ahead of the curve and recording early, because Sorare have released a follow-up, because obviously there's been a lot of questions, a lot of probably outrage to the update. So they've done a follow-up where they've talked about in-season. Basically, they've just been saying that they've got two new specific league competitions with Belgian League Jupiler and the Eredivisie for Netherlands, which I, to be fair, they're two leagues which I really enjoy playing. So I'm happy that those two leagues are getting their own competitions. I think that's really cool. I don't know what that means for Champion, Challenger, and Contender for in season, if they're still doing it or not. We'll just have to wait and see. I would imagine they still are this year at least, even if they're phasing it out for next year. So that's something that is actually some good news. I like the idea. And they did say that there's another league which they are in discussions with, which they might be adding soon, but they haven't confirmed it yet. So some people are saying it's probably Turkish league. It could be Serie A. It could be Ligue 1. So we'll just have to wait and see what league is added to that. But if you're playing in season, that's interesting, and it does seem to be making more of a benefit for you for an in-season player. With classics, they did just go into they understood the disappointment, which doesn't really help us, but at least they acknowledged it. They're talking about the rewards not being properly filtered out, and they want to make it so it's easier for everyone to be able to gain rewards. easier, sort of like if you're putting together a team. But I'm not sure if this is the way. I'm not sure if what they're talking about actually does help. There's still going to be one of the main things they were saying is there's still going to be a classic slot within in season, which you would hope they keep that anyway. But yeah, I suppose you can still use classic cards for that as well. Um, so there's going to be 4 lineups for Champions Europe, All Star, and Under 23s each, from what I can tell. So you're going to be able to play if you have teams for. I mean, Under 23s is a bit more difficult, but if you can play at least 8 for Champions Europe and All Star, and then maybe 4 for the Under 23s if you have enough classic cards for that. So there's still a lot of classic competitions you can play. But you got to remember that they're doing SO7, which means that you have to have 7 cards rather than 5, which means you need more cards to do it. There's a bigger chance of a did not play like coming up, which is one of the things which is annoying people. So the essence distribution they're talking about for classics, which will hopefully help control it and make it better, but we'll just have to wait and see. So overall, they are answering questions, but I feel like they're not truly getting well, they're getting it, but they're trying to just say, look, this will be better in the long run. I'm not sure a lot of us are convinced. So they've at least come out quickly with an update to try and cool the people's anger. I'm not sure how much that has, but I mean, there's nothing really more in it. There's a lot to talk about with not a lot really to say. They talk about the arena as well, but I don't enjoy arena because I don't want to. I don't want to spend essence. They're talking about having variations with lower essence requirements, league specific formats, and broader range of rewards. But I don't want to spend my essence on doing a competition that all the others are free. It just doesn't make sense to me. And also the arena, the way it's set up is almost like a day, like it's still a weekly, but like the daily competition. Like with Sorare, you get pitted against not just one person, but like multiple. But like it's the same sort of build as rivals, really, if you think about it. You put in a team and then you get randomly assigned other teams that you go up against. It's like a similar sort of build. So they've just taken rivals and made it worse, basically, with Arena. So I'm not crazy about this idea, but they're using that as a selling point as well. Super rare and unique, they're just saying was unique wasn't competitive anymore, and they were like losing engagement from it. That's why they've mixed super rare and unique, and I can understand that if not many people play it. It's a very high um, uh, threshold to get into it. You have to have a lot of money to get into unique. So bringing in super rare might mean that you can win unique cards and stuff like that. But I still think that people who do invest in unique cards are going to be very annoyed by this change still. Um, and then finally, just looking at the communication phases, why they're doing it in pieces. Um, Basically, they they have a lot of stuff which they don't know yet. So they can't tell us everything because there's a lot of things which they're still working on for the next gaming season, or next season even, like for like Premier League and things like that. So that's understandable, and I don't completely hate that, but I do think that the communications were a bit amateurish in terms of not expecting the fallout that they did have. If that makes sense, they were expecting us all to be absolutely in love with the ideas of not being able to use our cards as much, which is basically what their original announcement said. So strange, but yeah, there's the update. I'll probably just chop and change this into my current video, which I did talk about anyway. So yeah, we're gonna go back to the video now. But we're just gonna go have a look at what's happened this week now. All right, so this week we won 5 Essence from the MLS with this team. Didn't do too badly. So here's our 5 Essence, and the rest of the teams we didn't win a lot with. It's kind of annoying actually because we were pretty close. If we hadn't traded our way for Omerovich, and if we would have got someone from Haiti. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the country wrong. I tried. I think we would have got something in this rare, at least a box, which would have been awesome. But it wasn't to be because we got some really good scores. There's just this one player who didn't play, and we definitely would have got 35 minimum. if we'd have brought someone else in. So very frustrating, but it's one of those weeks. And also, if we'd have put cells in this team, we would have got something as well. We'd have got at least a box. As it was, we just got nothing from these. So that was the weekend, and then midweek we haven't got our rewards yet. They're on their way, but we got 8 essence because I did a arena 5 essence, and I don't think I'll do arena again. Honestly, I don't enjoy it. I don't think that I wanted to give it a try just to see what it was about. I don't really want to spend my essence on an arena. If there's a free version of the arena that they bring out, I'll play it. I'll try it out. But the spending essence just to play a limited lineup, whereas you have free to play lineups, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, it's another decision which I don't really like. It's just another way of trying to take something from the players without giving them anything, really. So yeah, and then my specials did not do well. Haiti won something like 5-0 in their last one, and then lost 5-1 in this one. And 2 of the players didn't even play that I had, so it was a bit of a disaster. But we did trade away for Andre Blake, and I think he's going to be a good player for the MLS and for internationals with Jamaica. So he's going to be an interesting one to have hold of. But 129 points off a reward, and that's what's happened this week. I'm hoping this weekend and next midweek will be a little bit better. We've got more cards that we can play. The internationals are still going in some places, but winding up in others, and we're looking at getting back into MLS season after the international break, and J League and K League as well. So we've got cards which we can play, and hopefully we'll get a little something for it. So we're now going to go on to the player to watch. All right, so my player to watch is Jonathan Bamba. So he is a 29-year-old forward who plays for Chicago Fire FC. And although he has recently just moved from Celta, from La Liga, and he's good at scoring, I'll tell you that. He's good at getting assists and goals. He's 29, but for MLS, he could probably play for another 10 years, to be fair. They tend to play a lot later in age, don't they? And he just seems like he's settled into the league really quickly. Like I think it was Olivier Giroud. He joined LA and did not play well for the first first year, I think, or something like that. I can't remember when he joined, but he didn't get many goals, and now he's scoring pretty regularly and doing quite well apparently. But he's joined and immediately made an impact and scored, got assists, played fairly decently. So I think he's a good player to have. Chicago Fire seem to be doing pretty well. Got 7-1 win last time. They seem to be getting pretty much consistent wins. The only one they lost was New York. And his cards are worth around about £3 on the market, £5 if you're looking to get the actual MLS ones. But the Celta cards still count as in season. So, and if you really want a 30th anniversary, you can get him for around about £7 there as well. So overall, he's not too shabby to pick up as a limited card. He scores goals. It's quite hard to get forwards this cheap within the MLS at the moment. So I think he's probably a good shout for the coming season. And MLS still has I think it's 2 months left. So you'd get a fair amount of usage out of him as well. So he's worth a shout. But obviously with the classic changes, might not want to buy any cards at the moment. So my player to watch is if you're going to get cards, he's one worth getting. But at the moment, I'd probably hold off and I'd see what's going on with the decisions that Sorare make, because they're not making good ones at the moment, are they? So I think that you probably want to just hold off and see how that is. But we're going to jump on to what's in the box.
What's in the box?
And another week without any boxes. Again, a change which I haven't liked from Sorare is that they've basically got rid of boxes, apart from All Star, which is really hard to win because you get 35k people playing it. But we do have enough essence for a T5 pull. I might as well do it. I'm not gonna save it up for anything because I have no idea what the essence pool stuff is going to be in the future. So we might as well do it now. So we're just going to see what we get. American defender or SK. Is that Kansas City? Well, that was a very disappointing pull. Who did we get? Mason Toy for Sporting Kansas City. Yeah, it's Kansas City. Barely plays. He's a 26-year-old, so it's not like he's a youth player, and he's worth about 40 to 50p. So that was a pretty trash pull, I'm not going to lie. So there's our pull. I mean, I'll keep hold of him. He's usable within this season's league. But then he's not, is he? I'll keep hold of him because he's not worth anything, but he barely plays. So maybe with injuries he might get his shout and start playing, but I'm not sure about that. So Mason Toy, and we do have 8 essence coming, so we're going to have 10 overall. So we just need to get 10 next week in order to do another pull for next week. So here's hoping we'll be able to do another essence pull next week. And then we're just going to go have a look at what's happening in the NBA. With everything that's happening in the football side of things, I really hope those changes don't come into place with NBA. That would be a real pain. I think it would be a mistake to, but then they run NBA so differently to football. I don't think they will. So we're hoping. So what's happened this week with NBA? We've managed to get together a limited team. Now I haven't really been able to put together a good limited team that will be winning anything, but so I've only been able to do 2 dailies, I think, since the 9th, isn't it? So yeah, the 8th and the 11th. But with that, we get 1 essence every time we do a limited lineup, and within Championship Chase, we are not really near anywhere near the top, but we are within the top 50%. So we have 5 essence that we're going to get at the end of Championship Chase if we stay in the top 50%. So with that limited lineup that I've been able to put together, I have still been able to make a little bit of essence off of it. So it's been worth it, I think. And then with the common stuff, we are in kind of good running to get 5 more essence from that. So we'll probably get around about 10 essence from the 2 Championship Chase places, which will put us up to around about 47. If we do the limited dailies, like the dailies don't always work every day. I think they cut them off to make sure that people don't do what I've been doing. But you can then get 1 essence from just posting a limited pro lineup. So you do make a little bit of essence off that. It's been really interesting seeing how the playoffs have played out. I think Indiana might have enough now. After last night's game, this is Thursday, so I've just seen the game where Indiana beat the Thunders by what was about like 9 points. So wasn't like down to 1 point or 2 points again, but it was still quite a close game. A 9-point game isn't that like run away with it, is it? But it just feels like it's Halliburton's year. I just think that he's got the extra bit of sauce. Don't get me wrong, I think the Thunder team are doing really well as well. I just think that with Sikayam as well, they both just seem to be operating at peak performance at the right time. So it'll be interesting to see how the final 2 games play out. Or is it 3 games? Two games. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing how these playoffs the playoff final plays out. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think there might be a bit of a comeback from Thunders, or will it be Indiana Pacers just charging forward? I don't have any essence pools that I can do at the moment, so that's basically it. Sorry if it was a bit of a moany episode video today. It's just really disappointing how Sorare have decided to treat its like players. I think that they aren't going to back down from what they're choosing to do, though. From previous experience, I don't think they're going to do a reversal on what they've set out. So I think we're basically just going to have to accept that these are changes that are coming. If you don't like them, which I don't, but I'm going to stick around. But if you don't like them, then I suppose we just stop playing. And I think if I get to the new season and it's as bad as I feel it will be, I may stop playing then. I want to give it at least a chance. These updates haven't fully been, like, questions haven't fully been answered and stuff like that. So I want to see if there is any, like, I don't know, any benefit which I'm not seeing. I want to give it its due chance. But if I find that it's just not fun anymore, then there's no point playing it, is there? I might not sell my collection yet. I might hold on to it and give it a little bit of time and see if any updates come out that fix it. But I would definitely think there's a chance that I'll probably drop off from playing it if it doesn't get any better. With NBA, it's a bit different because they haven't made any changes to the gameplay of that, and I'm enjoying it. So I think I will come back when the season starts again for this, for NBA. But there's time for them to change the NBA stuff as well, especially if the football stuff works for them in terms of making them money. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I think this, when the player final finishes, there's not a lot of NBA stuff that you can do. There's a bit of a down period, so I'll probably not include the NBA section in the video after. So this is either next week or the week after will probably be the end of the NBA bit, and then the football bit we'll see how it goes. But yeah, very interesting times ahead for Sorare. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you have been playing it for a while, just kind of picked it up, what you think of the changes. If you completely disagree with me, I'd love to know why. Like, what you're looking forward to with the new changes and stuff. Because, like I said, there might be something I've missed. There might be something where actually I'm thinking too insular to about like the collection that I've got, and there's things which I'm not seeing which actually will be better. So let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you when I see you.